So that's the 17. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. You know?
Welcome to The Beat,
a podcast where we explore all things rhythm across different cultures and eras.
I'm Vanshmak,
I'm Uded Sur.
and we hope you enjoy this conversation.
Forgot to say that part, sorry.
And we hope you enjoy and we hope you enjoy today's conversation.
The Beat is very excited to present Shai Maestro, a good friend of mine for many years, but also a world-renowned jazz pianist, composer, and band leader, known for his lyrical and imaginative style. So many other adjectives that we can add there. Shai gained international prominence as a teenager and has since established a significant solo career with an extensive discography. Has toured around the world with his own trio and later quartet for over a decade, performing at major venues and international festivals. He was also invited to perform his original music with several philharmonic orchestras and established himself as one of the major voices in the contemporary music world. Thank you so much for joining us, Shai.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, guys.
Welcome to the podcast, Shai. Really excited to have you here.
Thank you. Nice to meet you and good to see you, Oded. It's been a minute.
It has been. How are you doing today?
Good. Today is a nice December day in Spain. I live in Spain. Just came back from a run in the forest, so can't complain.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, we have to start. We have to start there. I mean, we had a plan of where to start. We were thinking about your childhood and all of that. We'll get to that. But let's start with the run in the forest. I want to hear all about that. I want to hear about that run in the forest.
This one is dedicated to getting my girlfriend to run with me. So we're
wow.
training stages, and it's been wonderful. And like we're counting how many times I'm complaining every time there's a big inclination, and the scoreboard is pretty obvious.
Yeah. Most of the complaining being on your side.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's like average pace per mile and average complaints per 100 meters. So
that's really interesting, because I was about to ask is there any rhythmic aspect to a run in the woods? Is there anything that happens there that has a rhythmic element to it?
Yeah. I'm sure there is. Like, the thing that comes to mind is the bass player in my band. I hope he's okay that I'm sharing it, but he runs with a metronome.
Oh,
wow.
It's a vibe. Just puts
It's very serious.
And it's very serious. Just like no music. Like, he just puts a metronome on, and I'm like, wow, it's a.
I've seen that in swimming. They do that a lot in swimming, but I've first
with
time
a
I'm
metronome?
here. Yeah, a click, because they want to really time their strokes per minute. But I've never seen that running.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can notice when you watch the Olympics, they're like, this looks like they're using click.
Yeah, this is not their intuitive rhythm.
This is not their
Yeah.
A run and forth for sure. I mean, you lock into a certain groove, and there's like a few things happening at the same time, which it's like the steps and your breath. So polyrhythm 1.0. Yeah, that's actually like really nice. I'm gonna try to just listen to that next time I run. It's a good idea. Already useful talking to you guys. Thank you.
It was actually one of the questions, that we were about to ask you.
It became a gift.
Yeah. No, that does sound like a lot of fun. So let's take just one step back and start with maybe the beginning. So you were born in Israel and grew up there, and I'm curious, in terms of music, in terms of what surrounds you, the sounds and the rhythms that surround you, what is it like to be 10 years old, Shai Maestro, or 15 years old? Maybe those are already different questions, but what is it like?
Yeah, I mean that like growing up there is like it's obviously a country of immigrants, and so the there's no like Israeli folk music like that doesn't really exist, you know, per se. It's like it's very new. So it's like if you look at the origins, it's like, you know, like immigrants that came from Poland, from Russia, from South America, from Egypt, from Yemen, from like that's very kind of vast culture. It's kind of like New York in that sense.
Right.
That there's not like a native New York music. You know, New York is
Right.
everything. And yeah, I mean, growing up, well, my first approach to the piano was improvisation, imitating sounds of the forest, by the way. So it had kind of like a game essence to it of the high register, or like it was like the wind, the mid range were the animals jumping around like rabbits and whatever, and then like lower register were thunders and, you know, the storm. And so like a very cinematic, and then, you know, with the years learning theory, putting names and things, and it's great to kind of come back full circle and then just like try to play images again. And
The game of the forest was because you were surrounded by forest and plants.
Yeah, where I grew up. I think you visited me there.
In Karmel Yosef. Yeah. So you were there from a young age.
Yeah, from one since I was from when I was 1 year old.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes. So and then, you know, discovering the vast world of jazz through Oscar Peterson. Diving into pretty quickly diving into Latin music. Which is my soundtrack till this day. I'm just like a hopeless addict of Cuban rumba. It's the soundtrack for like 30 years now.
Wow.
And
already very eclectic.
Yeah, for sure. Then discovering flamenco, discovering Indian music, then through our friend Mark Moshayev that introduced us to the world of Tihais, who now has an Instagram page, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I want to check that out.
Someone finally discovered that there's like a hidden gem that nobody knows about, and just he's doing everything for him. So like, you know, filming videos, tutorials, whatever, and then it's like you can hear Mark Moshayev on. Seriously? Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna check that out.
Yes, it's the best account after Taylor Swift that you can follow.
Wow. That's a big endorsement.
We should just make a disclaimer that Mark Moshayev is a drummer, amazing musician that both of us are friends with, and he started learning tabla at a certain point in Israel, and kind of, I think both you and me, Shai, kind of followed him into that world for a second. Well, for me, it was more than a second, but it was him that kind of inspired all of that. So he's an amazing musician.
That's right. I remember the first time you showed us the concert. I think we were together when we were exposed to the Tihai, the magic. Yeah.
Please share that memory.
This has to be really.
I want to hear what that was like.
Pivotal moment.
Yeah, man. That was in a warehouse in Yahud somewhere, like with Chagai Kormilo is a great bass player, and we were playing. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember like you were sitting on a bunch of like a pile of newspapers or something, and then like it's very, you know, we're like 14, 15, something like that, I think.
High school time,
high school time, and then Mark showed us, like, you know, you play this thing 3 times, and we were like, what? And then he went to India. He had all those notebooks and stuff, and then he's the reason, I guess, why you're doing this thing.
Wow.
Yeah, he's an amazing drummer. Really, like very, very highly recommended.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was an interesting time to discover this phenomenon, which Time Hero is based on. So let's also mention that Time Hero is a game of Tihais, And what a tihai is essentially this rhythmic cadence that comes from Indian classical music. Just for any listeners who might not be familiar, and a tihai is a sentence that repeats 3 times to then land on a specific beat of the cycle. So it's a confluence of math and music, and all the good things in the world basically are somehow symbolized in a tihai, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, it's really amazing to that this moment came up, because this podcast can actually be
Because of
traced because of that moment.
Yeah.
That we're sitting right here.
Yeah, and he was like, I remember him and his brother Dan. Like, he was like, yeah, we discovered this thing that you can play music not to get girls and to earn money, but because it's just because it's amazing, and then it's like you can just concentrate on the music, and I was like, wow.
What an unusual motive to.
You just lost a lot of followers.
Yeah. Okay, so around that time, if we think about your journey and your development as a musician, I wanna discover a little bit more, because you're describing all of these different types of music, and therefore a lot of different types of rhythm as well, right? And is there any point in that age where rhythm suddenly becomes something more concise or more clear in your mind in comparison to how it was just before, when you were playing the game of the forest sounds?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, rhythm became the obsession. I think before I would place it before harmony and melody in my chronological development. I became like a rhythm junkie. I remember watching Michel Camilo. He's a piano player, plays like Latin jazz, I'd say, and he had a drummer, Horacio El Negro Hernandez, that has this thing of playing clave with his left foot, and then the right one is playing the tumbao. It's like like the rhythmic patterns of Cuban music, like 4 different parts, distinctive parts. And I remember being obsessed with just like figuring out how to how to do that. And I remember my mom used to complain that I'm just not present, because I'm just like trying to figure out how to see where everything lands. And the deep dive was into rhythm as rhythm, not necessarily just to serve the piano. I was just like fascinated with polyrhythms, with how you can put like 3/4 and then 5/4. I remember like going through all the entire series of like, okay, you have 4 beats, and then you can, in that bar, you can put 5 beats, 6 beats, 7 beats, try to go between them, see which ones are harder, which ones are easier, like working on the harder ones. I'll say, the transition between like 7 to 5 is 7 to 5 is actually easier, but 7 to 3 is difficult. So I would like obsess on that for a while. And then like discovering all those other cultures, and like I remember my mind exploding to 1,000 pieces when I discovered flamenco. And I sat with a good friend of mine, Itamar Duarte, is a great percussion player. He used to come to my apartment, and we transcribed a whole buleria, which is a type. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a type of a flamenco style that is in 6. It's very usually quite quick, quite fast. And there's a track that's like 5 minutes long by this guitar player. His name is Tomatito, and we transcribed the entire thing to like the smallest ghost note of the udu and the it took us like 3 months to get it. And we played it in a concert later. It was terrible, but that's not the point. The point, it was they were like the studying rhythm through that was like one of, I remember that was like one of the defining moments for me, where I felt like my musicianship just did the like I came back from a boot camp, and then and then diving a little bit, studying with Sanji, that I'm sure you spoke about in this podcast.
Not yet, actually, but we should.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Tabla teacher.
Sanjay Kumar Sharma.
Sharma.
The Indian musician who lived in Israel at the time. I think he still does. He was the teacher of both of us as well.
Yes. Yeah. And studying with him, wanting to get into the complicated stuff, and he was just like, no, just like get the right sound, and we just like, and I was just like very excited about like those, all the crazy Indian classical percussion music, but he was really like kind of like you're gonna get a good sound out of the tabla, and then we'll talk, and that never happened.
I saw you were learning tabla with him. Is it?
Yeah. But it's really just like, it's not. I wouldn't dare to say that I'm. I learned to love this music through him. I'm not a tabla player.
Yeah. So this obsession that you talk about, that was even more kind of primary than harmony and melody at that time, got you to a place where you felt rhythm became kind of like in color, in as opposed to being in black and white before, or like what does that period of time look like in terms of the change before and after transcribing that buleria and that process that you described that is very intense, right?
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's a very beautiful definition. Rhythm and color versus black and white. I can definitely relate to that. I've never thought about it in these terms. It's very beautiful, but I can definitely relate to this concept. Once you start diving in and obsessing over the smallest details, it's a very interesting process of it being like laboratory, neon lights, kind of like very clean, like where does it land? Is this pum or pum pum or patum? How is the flam? And then it's not quite music yet. But if you immerse yourself enough in this world, if you nerd out on those things enough, and it's like language, like you learn the conjugations, and you say this like with this ending, with that ending, blah blah, and then you can zoom out a little bit, and like little pieces of music start to emerge from that. And then it's kind of like a parallel process of seeing how studying rhythm serves a melody or a song, and kind of like, okay, so this song is in 7, but at the early stages it's really basic 7, and I keep stumbling all the time, and then the other route is the laboratory, and you keep on getting deeper, learning how to play in 7, learning how to emphasize beat number 2, beat number 3, beat number 4, beat number 5, 6, 7, how to put triplets inside, what happens if you put 16 notes, what happens if you put over the bar line phrases, what happens if you transition from triplets to 16, like I try to do all of it. And then you see how this route, the music route, starts to become more rooted, more detailed, has more shades, more colors, and less kind of like stiff, less I'm just playing in 7, and one of the founding fathers of modern jazz, Brad Mehldau, he kind of made playing in 7 fashionable. And they have this like mythic recording at the Village Vanguard, playing All the Things You Are, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, tin, 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 this kind of. And something that happened is that followed is that you heard a lot of people playing this meter with this kind of like clave.
Yeah.
And the thing that there's like, a lot of times the phrases would stay in this like
Right.
how do you call it?
Grid or structure?
This clave like
Yeah.
and it's cool, but then after a while you're like, okay, but how do we
Right.
make it multidimensional? How, and that's where the laboratory comes in. So like that's how would accent on beat number 2 would sound, and then it has this hiccup all of a sudden that you discover, and then and what happens if you play beat number 3 and beat number 6? What happens if you take this tin, 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 and you just displace it, you just put it a beat after, and then your brain is kind of like gets into this world when it's kind of like into this like washing machine of like rhythm, and then it digests the material little by little, and then you go to play a melody in 7, and then it's colorful. It's
Right.
it's less limited. If a phrase wants to end on beat number 1, on beat number like 2, like how to do that, so you don't have to cut it and end on beat number 1. You have the free, because you practiced finishing on beat number 2.
That's so beautiful, and I love hearing how you describe this process. Every one of the topics that we are talking about, I want to just like shout out everything else and stay with only this because it fascinates me so much. But before we move on to the next kind of chapter, I do want to ask about the laboratory. Is there a risk in your mind that sometimes the lab takes us and we want to kind of stay there? We
Yes.
go back to the music and we bring a little bit too much of that neon light, and if so, how you as a musician handle that?
Yeah, 100%. There's been so many concerts that I played, and so many concerts that I've listened to as an audience member, where I was like, "This is cerebral bullshit,"
Right.
and like, why would anybody other than white 20-year-old guys want to listen to this? And it's a stage. It's a stage on the way, and like the goal is heart, is playing music
Right.
that touches you, and plays music that is meaningful, plays music that has to do with the times that we live in, plays music that has to do with the moment, plays all that good stuff that we like listening to when we listen to Johnny Mitchell or Coltrane or Zakir Hussain or whoever. It feels bigger than the building blocks,
Right.
and
There's soul to it.
there's a soul to it, right? And but then if you go into this nerdy kid analytical mode and you start analyzing what they do, it's crazy. If you get into, obviously Zakir's music is kind of like goes without saying, but then if you dive into Johnny Mitchell's phrasing, it's insanity, and it's like there's so many details, but the experience itself is very easy. It's like an iPhone, like a monkey can use it, but if you look at the programming, it's insane. And so you have to be an amazing programmer. You have to be an amazing high-tech person to create something that is like, I mean, you guys know, like you designed the app. It should be easy, but if you go into the details, it's like it's a whole world. And so the idea is to always keep the user experience at the end.
That's the best context to use. Let's say user experience I've ever heard of. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
Really, always boils down to that. Really.
yeah. Is it nice to listen to, or is it not nice to listen to? Other than that, I don't really care. I'd be curious to listen to some nerdy stuff of like, interesting, let's try that in the laboratory, but I'll get tired pretty quickly.
Right.
This actually makes me segue into. I was recently listening to one of your recordings of. It's called "The Moon of Knives."
Oh, yeah.
And I could hear these really intricate layers all stacked up. At least that's how it was sounding to me, of really granular rhythms at the bottommost layer, and it just kept opening up as the music kind of, I started paying attention to the other layers, and it kind of what you were saying made me think of that piece of music, because at on one hand it is this intricate layers and very dense and very like if you start paying attention to individual things, you just keep noticing so many things over and over again, and oh, there's this too, or there's that happening too. But when I take a step back, I just in the midst of all this intricacies, and I could feel the spaciousness, I could also feel this, it's just breathing on its own, that I don't have to pay attention to the detail and still somehow absorb all of it as a whole.
Yes.
And is I know it's a process of a lifetime, but it kind of pertains to this discussion and how you were able to transform all that lab work, as you describe, into actual musicality and soul. So
Yeah. It's that. It's the user interface. It's I call it the grammar rule. Like my
the
grandma
grammar
should,
rule.
my grandma should be able to enjoy my music.
We should call her on this podcast, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But that's that. It's really like make sure that it's understood at the end. And then like the interesting thing that happened with this album, and there are a lot of or that you mentioned when we were texting, you mentioned the song "The Time Bender," like a lot of super intricate, nerdy songs.
Mm-hmm.
The Time Bender is a song in 17/8, which like on as a first glance, there's no reason to ever do that. Like why would you do that? But that's the nerdy side. And then it was such a long process, like learning how to play in 17, or like in Moon of Knives, it's in 6, but digging into those layers, becoming as fluent as and proficient as I can in those meters, and then going back to the piano and writing a melody that someone could enjoy. And then you have this harmony, like a rhythmic harmony, like you have like a very intricate, complex layer, and then like just a simple melody on top. And that's usually the thing that I'm looking for, like a simplicity within complex environments.
If we stay with this topic for a moment, I have another question about that very song, because I've been listening to it as well, The Time Bender, and I got I fell in love with it completely, and I just feel like it again perfectly represents everything that we're talking about, because the level of sophistication that the rhythm of the song and everything in the song has is so high, but the song is clearly not about that. The song is using that is the canvas of the song, and the song is saying something else, which to me was very clear, comes through very clearly, and I love that. If we take the nerdy side, if we go into the laboratory for a second, for the sake of the discussion, again, talking about a subject that could take an hour just by itself, if the piece is in 17, the way I heard it is that it plays on the tension between just being a big 3 as opposed to being 5, 6, and 6.
That's right.
Which I actually am not sure where the 5 falls. Is it in the beginning, or is it in the middle, or is it in the end? Can you take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, as you're saying it, I'm counting, because I forgot about it,
Okay.
which is the thing.
It's a good sign, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
that means that it works, that you don't need to like, you like 7, 8, I don't want to hear numbers.
That's actually exactly what I looked like this morning when I was listening to it, that face that you just made.
I was trying to count it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because you're approaching it from the nerdy side, which is cool, and it's
Yeah,
available to the listeners to, like, if you want, go ahead.
Right.
There's just plenty to discover,
Right.
But if you just want to cook dinner and listen to it, you can enjoy it as well.
Right.
And so the 17, man, that was like a long exploration. That was because it really started as a stupid nerdy exercise of like, hey, let's write a song in 17, which was like, and then I was like, okay, let me try to really do that. And then I tried all those like different divisions, all those like different, until I found I found the 4-4-4-5. So check it, 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 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 check it, 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 which is kind of like a limping 4, like a
Okay, let's just pause. I am very slow with these things.
Okay.
So 4-4-4-5.
5.
So 4-4-4 is 12, and then 5 is 17. So the 5 is at the end of that sort of cycle, is it?
Yes. And then if you listen to music in 4/4, and it's just 16 essentially, 4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4, and I just took the last 4 and made it a 5. So it's like like it has a little hiccup.
Okay.
So and it's not natural. Like if you know, it's like ba-da 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 ba-da, you know, like you have to kind of
Stumble.
like add like unnecessary fat to this, and you lose the flow. It's like it's a very frustrating experience. But I had to go there. I was like, let me play in 4-4-4-5. Let me learn how to play in 4-4-4-5. And then I was like, okay, what's my problem here? The problem is the bar of 5. It's really hard to phrase on 5. So I said, okay, goodbye, all the 4s. Thank you for your service. Let's just stay for a while with 5-8 and learn how to like 1 2 3 you know, like, and then start from rhythm. I don't start from the piano. I don't start from melodies. I don't start from harmony. I'm like drumming on my knees, and essentially doing rhythmic exercises, like I told you, accents on the first beat of the 5, second beat, third beat, fourth beat, fifth beat. Then taking a figure of 3, like, you know, dotted dotted quarter notes over a bar of 5. So 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 taka 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 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5, and then finding where they reset, putting 7 on it, taka 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 2 2 2 2 3 check on a bar of 5, turning it around, playing it here, there, like until I'm completely fluent, until I swim in that, and there's no problem. Then okay, cool. Let me go to the piano. Try to play only in C major using those tools, just one chord. Do all those exercises with notes instead of ta 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 ta. It will be da 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 da, whatever, you know. Work on that, go through the numbers again, make sure I'm completely fluent. And like, cool, let me then add chords, only 2 chords. I will just play like C minor and F major because it's really beautiful, and then like work on that, like a little, you know. So all of this process is like kind of massaging that stiff 5 muscle until it's loose, until it's like, okay, I feel like I'm no longer just like holding on to dear life with every downbeat. I'm not being like limited with like of playing the clave. Otherwise, I fly, you know, I fall off the wagon. And once I felt comfortable with 5, I said, okay, let's bring back the good old friends, the 3 4s. And then I saw that it was too complicated. It was like 4 4 4 5 is too complicated. I said, okay, so let me just bring 1. Let me learn how to play with 4 and 5. So we're essentially in 9. Do all those exercises again, playing on my knees, like adding the piano, blah 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 blah. Okay, once I felt comfortable with that, let me add another 4. Let me add another 4 until got to the place where I'm kind of like, I play in 17, more or less, and then that was still very slow because it's unnatural. There's a reason that people don't play in 17, because it just does not sound good, and it still felt unnatural for quite some times, until I was like, I understood that what I want is to have another layer on top of the 17, which ended up being the layer of 3. So in order for you to make it, in order for it to make sense, the 17 need to be fucking fast. It needs to, it's like, otherwise the 3 is gonna, you're not gonna hear it as 3. It's just like, it's too stretched.
So sorry, Shai, I didn't get the 3 part. What is the layer of 3 on top of that?
Yeah. So that's actually a shout out to Ofri Nehemiah, the drummer that made discovered it. He came over to my house in Spain, and I was like, man, I'm stuck. I just write stupid 17 thing. It doesn't make sense. And he was like, what about 3? What if you put 3 on it? And I was like, what? How do you put 3 on 17? That doesn't divide. That's not, you know. And then we found this magic formula of 5-6-6. 5. So 6 and 6 is 12 plus 5-6-6. And if you play it fast enough, it's so fast that your brain, it's kind of like, you know, when you're looking at something and your brain is completing the missing information, you know, it's kind of like your brain resets it and it sounds like 3.
Like a 6-6-6?
It sounds like a 6-6-6. So check it out. So I'll do it slow. So 4-4-4-5. 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4 3 2 3 4 1 1 2 3 4 sorry again, because that's a 17. And now I'm gonna put the 5-6-6 on it. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 sorry again, 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Then you have this, and then that sounds like 3. If you stop counting inside, that sounds like 1 and 2 and 3. So if you speed it up quite a bit, so 17, so 1 2 3 4 taka 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 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 taka 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 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6. Then you stay with us. And we're playing it actually much faster. We just so that's the 17. One, two, three. 1 2 you know, you can play any 3 song, any song in 3 on this. So that was like a moment of like, whoosh, you unlock the matrix, because oh shit, so you can go in and out of these layers. You can play in 3. So because it's a living band, so like we can play actually in 3, and whenever we want, we lock into the 5-6-6. So we can be accurate, but we can be also sloppy, and that sloppy is the freedom, you know. So the sloppiness is the free, while Offrey, the drummer, is being very accurate, and so. And then he can get sloppy, and then we are keeping the 17, and then, you know, kind of like we pass this ball between us of like, oh, and that's why the music is breathing, because it's not MIDI, it's not MIDI information. It's because of this 3 nature, you can then phrase in 3 or in 6 or in 12, and then the world is yours, you know. Like you can bring all your vocabulary from the 3 world, from the 6 world, but you're in 17, and at any given moment you can latch on and play in 17. And after all this, grammar,
I see.
you know, that's when grammar comes in, and it's like, okay, haha, cool, but how is this song? Is it a good song or it's not a good song? And then that's where I was like, okay, goodbye 17, hello piano, hello waltz. Let me what's the best chord after G minor, and I was like, D minor,
Hmm.
because that's what would sometimes get neglected. You're so excited with the discovery,
Hmm.
and then you're like,
Yeah.
I just want to show the world that I can play in 17, but
Right.
that's not a good song. So
Right.
people are indifferent, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a very strong. Like I live here. I have a group of really great friends here in Spain that they're not musicians, and one evening when the single came out, they just put it on the stereo. You know, they just played it on the system. And I hate when people do it, but they were like, well, let's, and they all sang the melody, and they're not
Mm.
musicians, and
Uh-huh.
they made fun of themselves of like, oh, we're like hooligans, you know, like we're like, and they were doing this, you know, like this three thing, and I was like,
All
wow,
right.
there's like a bunch of non-musicians singing in
Hmm.
17 really fucking fast, and that's when you know it's you cracked it
Yeah. Yeah.
because yeah.
That's amazing. How long did this whole process take you?
Oh man, 8 months. That was like it was a
Wow.
long. We have a WhatsApp group with the band calling "17 is not going to make you money." That's the name of the group.
That's
And
epic.
then and then we send exercises there between us
Ah.
and like nerdland, complete nerdland.
Wow.
That's so beautiful to hear and to see the granularity of the process itself too. Thank you for sharing that. Maybe this is a good segue to talk about the band, band leading, um, playing music with other people, which I think that you have a lot to say on, because you've been a band leader for a long time and you do it in your own unique way, a beautiful way. Um, I kind of wonder from the point of view of rhythm, again, if when you started your first trio, um, did you have a point of view of what should happen in it rhythmically and what should not happen in it rhythmically at that time? Or was it
Hmm.
something that happened that the priorities were? I'm asking this because we were talking about how rhythm was almost an obsession and was an important thing for you throughout your development. So how does that translate to composing and being a band leader?
Yeah. Um, yeah, when you start a new band, I mean, yeah, there are a million ways of doing it. I'm not any authority. There's no one way. But I felt back then that the thing that we need to do now is to create a common language, to
Hmm.
create a ground where we speak the same language. We get excited. Like I remember like introducing them to timba music, Cuban stuff, and kind of like playing it, and it didn't sound good because from we're not from that world, but just like constructing that world, constructing the language through which we will be communicating with each other. Um, I was very very specific. And it was a good school for me, and for I think all of us learned a lot from it. But at the same time, it was too rigid.
Hmm.
It was too like I wanted to control it so much, and I had to. I told the drummer like, "Oh, here you're gonna play the like it needs to open up to the cymbal, and then that's where it gets dry again. You play the hi hat, and today I can tell you from a very, very different perspective. Like, man, you bring another person into your musical world. It's like it's a treasure. It's a universe. It's a living organism that has preferences and makes choices that you are not gonna make yourself. That's gonna show you corners of your music that you would never know about if you stay too rigid and if you define too much. Like you got to play this note and this. And so if you let the guys play and you're really open and agile, or what's the word, like able to to swim in their world. It's your music, but the drummer just started playing in a different meter, or he or she they slow down, or they rush or whatever, and you say yes to it, then you gain something incredible that you would never gain if you play with a computer, And so interventions are important. If you feel like, okay, this band needs a leader, like in this moment in the concert, like, okay, it's too scattered. The downbeat is here. Let me be that one telling you that it's here. To be the responsible adult, which sometimes is the drummer in the band, sometimes the bass player. It's not necessarily me as a band leader. So you kind of like see what the music needs, or even if or you get to this crossroad where things become abstract and undefined, and you really let go of your need to control, and you just kind of like lean in and say like, oh, let's look into what this is. That's more like Keith Jarrett's world. Like improvisers who are like, well, I don't know what it is, but let's find out, and then people's rhythmic feel moves you a lot. I remember listening to Roy Haynes at the Blue Note, and he's like 95. He was 95 at the time. And they play like, here, and then he did like this feel like, like he slowed down so much, and it was Berkeley wrong. It was an avoid note. It's like he made a mistake. He slowed down, but everybody was just like, okay, this is the new downbeat kid. And that was the moment where everybody was like, woo! And then you're like, wow, it's so alive, It's like if you have someone suggesting a different time feel, like if you trust that person, which is really important, see what that person has to offer you, You're going to learn a lot about yourself.
When you play every night with a group of people like this, and you have that level of trust, are there some signs that happen at the concert, say at the beginning, that tell you tonight is going to be one of those nights that we can totally let go, as opposed to maybe some other nights where it doesn't always happen? We all know that in a tour, there's that, and there's a little bit of everything. How do you see that?
Yeah, it's usually the attention to details and nuance that you feel from the first second. Like you go on stage, you play a chord, and you feel like the band doing like whoa, or someone plays like like there's a reaction. It doesn't need to be literal kind of like I repeat after what you said, and then we're communicating. Yeah, this is going great. It's which is cool. Yeah. But you kind of feel that there's an acknowledgement of like something that happens, and then you feel like, okay, so we're in tune with each other. We're breathing together, and that's it's like it's a musical representation of a good connection. It could be in conversations, it could be in art, it could be in sex, it could be in food, it could be like whatever. You feel like you are listening. You're listening to each other, and you're not locked on the idea of like, I'm the band leader, the gig needs to be amazing, and I will militarize you until it is, It's like it's not that.
So just being fully present, and you can sense it that when everyone is really present and conversing musically. Right?
Yeah, present and able, because you can be present with people who are not like very professional, like they're not really good at their instruments, and then okay, cool, we have a connection, but which can be interesting. But that combination between presence and skill is really like where it happens.
Cool. When I listen to you describe the way that you work on rhythm, and how you talked about before with I'm gonna hit the first beat of that bar or meter, I'm gonna hit the second one, the third one, I'm gonna find different ways. and I'm just going to sit with it for a prolonged period of time until it kind of cooks. It feels like there's something. The process itself is granular.
Yes.
It's a process in the full sense of the word, right? And that makes me wonder if, in addition to that, are there also moments in your growth as an artist that are kind of a moment that sit in a broad stroke type of before and after type of situation over the years? Have there been like just moments that shifted your sense of things?
Yes. My what's the word, barometer? Can you say that?
I guess so. Yeah.
Is this a word, like the
I mean,
pressure?
you and I think it is, but let's ask Vanch.
Barometer?
Is like the thing that's that measures the
Pressure, yeah.
the pressure.
That's right.
And yeah, is this a word?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a word. Amazing, guys.
There you go. Got approved by an engineer, so it's definitely a barometer. Yeah.
That's all I know about it. It just measures pressure.
I just throw fancy words into the air, not knowing what I'm talking about. But yeah, the barometer of progress for me is when I have moments that I kind of tell myself, like, Shai, how dare you go on stage before you knew that? Like, it was so, it was so like, it's so obvious. Like, you should have known that before, you know? And so I remember, like, I studied with a teacher, Ofer Breyer, maybe you remember him, in high school.
Right, yeah.
And then he had an exercise of the left hand should interact with the snare of the drummer. And so the drum, ting, 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 cut, cut, you know, so the hand, the hand would answer. And the revelation for me was like, whoa, you can listen to the snare? What? You can dissect the drums into different parts and assign, like, wow, crazy, boom. And then from there everything changes, because like started listening to the snare and getting rhythmic information from the snare. And then I was like, oh, what happens if I do it with the hi-hat? What happens if I do it only with the bass? Oh, what happens if I do it with the right? Whatever. Yeah, there are many moments like this. Not many. There are moments like this along the path where you're like, wow, it's really crazy that I went on stage without knowing that I could listen to the drummer, or that I could go on stage without understanding that the left hand of the piano could have detailed information and not just we call it the claw, where you just like kind of like play rhythmic stuff and it doesn't really matter what. It's like you listen to Keith, you listen to Brad, these guys, there's like so much going on in the left hand. The moment of understanding that you're rushing and it's like, I was like, ooh, okay, wow, how to make 8 notes feel wide, like this really like abstract, you know, things that, because it like mathematically it doesn't make sense, because you have a bar, you put 8 in it and that's it. But you listen to Marcus Gilmore playing and it sounds wide. You listen to Monk playing it and it sounds wide. You listen to, I mean, so many examples of like how is it wide and not dragging, you know. So definitely a lot of moments like this, and that's kind of like my compass, my barometer, to know that I'm on the right path, that I still feel ashamed of having gone on stage.
Humility.
Yeah.
So when you said listening to and taking in information from, let's say, the drummer in this case, so where do you usually feel the center of gravity for, let's say, the groove that is happening? Is it shifting? Is it on its own moving around and you just unconsciously just grooving to that? Or is there a specific place physically inside you or outside you where you feel this?
That's a great question. Center of gravity, man. That's like super. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I want to be comfortable with all centers of gravity, with all the places in the bar, to be able to listen to the drummer and then like, oh, this drummer is like really like beat 6 inclined, you know. And so you,
Very precise.
you know,
That's just the
like,
beat that they like. I mean,
some people have this you know, so you know, it's like it's there, the one, and the gravity center is that second hit. Having practiced this specific number at home, I'm able to just like killing. Let me go with you, and then I discover new things about my playing, that because I'm being pushed over and over again to the center of gravity, to the gravity center of the drummer. And it's a really interesting concept, and people have different gravity centers. That's very very correct. And yeah.
we usually ask our guests, I mean, usually it's not like we had 100 episodes, but in the ones that we had so far, I like to ask how you handle rhythm panic, which is what I would define as arriving at a musical situation and discovering that the rhythmical elements involved are such that you don't know where the center of gravity is. You don't know how to kind of approach it. But with you, I want to ask you this question in a very specific way. So that wasn't the question yet. I'm sorry, it's going to be a long one. That was the context. So my question is, do you remember when we were on tour years and years ago, and I wrote a song that was in 11, but
oh my God, do I remember? Fucking nightmare.
I'm sorry, first of all.
No, it's my fault. It's my fault.
If it still matters, I want to apologize after all these years. I was just really curious about that particular type of 11. And I wrote it. And so just to describe really quickly, what happened was that some people heard it in a different way than the way that I thought of it. And then we were in the middle of a tour. I think it was like February or something in Europe, freezing cold. And like every train station and every airport, you were like in between, under the hat and the hoodie and the coat, and you were trying to learn the song in this other way, which
to unlearn it first,
to unlearn it from the way you've learned it, and to learn it in another way, which is so hard. And I remember just feeling so bad. And so I guess my question is, how did you do that? How did you eventually succeed to perform it in that tour, which you succeeded? I would love to know, because I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Man, that was such a nightmare. I remember this because that was like kind of like an I call it like a pivot point. That from that point on, when someone sends me complicated music, I'm like, send me a chart. I have to see it on paper. I have to know where you, and it goes to this. Yeah, no, to say it was my fault, because I was like, oh yeah, I hear it, and then I learned your song and I heard it in the wrong way. And just like to explain, like hearing something in the wrong way means like you hear the downbeat somewhere else.
Right.
So I don't know, like right, the 1 2 3 1 2 1 2, but then like 1 2 3 4. If you hear it there, you're fucked. You're fucked. And then like if you learn how to improvise on it, and so that was like one. I remember that moment of like, oh no, because. Yeah, then you have to unlearn it. How do you unlearn things? Like they don't teach you how to unlearn things.
I want you to teach me that. That's my question.
I had to kind of like go to every the smallest detail in the phrases that you wrote. Like really kind of like erase everything else and stay with like pa that I heard is like end one, and then here it's one end, and then just like over and over, like 2D 3 4 2. Okay, I got it. Let's put it in context. And then boom, I'm out again. I'm like, no, like it's so strong how I learned it, because I and then like going like piece by piece and kind of like making it a physical experience of like it's a downbeat, like center of gravity is here. It's not where I thought it was. And then I got to a point where I was like more or less comfortable with it, but then you play it with other people and they start like variations on it and then quoting the melody, and then you're like, oh my God.
It's like fighting intuition, right? It's very hard.
Fighting intuition? Yeah. Yeah. Imagine I tell you now that yes means no and no means yes, and have a conversation. Go ahead. Like words mean different things, and I was, you're so used to, no, that was a no. You said yes, but that was a no. see what I mean? It's like, it's such a mindfuck.
For sure.
And but that's the beauty, That's like you learn from it.
I think it was just so impressive that you managed to do that, and I'm surprised you remember. I thought only I remember that, but
no.
It was you remember it in not the right way, but yeah. So we have a bunch of questions that we didn't get to ask you yet, because it's just so interesting to talk about these things. But I want to maybe open the space for Vanch to, out of the questions that we have prepared, what do you think we should, before we let Shai go?
Well, I'm not a professional musician, so I'm more like a student, and maybe we can finish off with this question, which is, if you could give me or our listeners one small concrete exercise to do to deepen sense of timing, what, or do you have one that you kind of go back to very often as well? And assuming we're not professional musicians, what would that be?
Buy Time Hero and subscribe.
This was not a plug. Not rehearsed.
I mean, that's definitely gonna be a short on all social media, and yeah, I mean,
we got a viral moment right there. Shai. Thank you.
That's what I think, man. That's how I did it.
yeah, that's how.
No. Deepen the time field. Okay. I would say one of the most important. I'd say two things. Number one is play with a slow metronome. Like, don't get tempted to play with a metronome that does tick 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 tick, because then it's a little bit like running on a treadmill. Like, you are exercising in the gym, you're running, but it's doing the work for you. And running, going full circle, running in the forest, carrying your own body weight, you have to you make the work. So if you have a metronome that is like on 20 BPM or something like 2, something like that, so like click and then a universe of space, like on open space, and click, and then try to play quarter notes inside. Try to play different subdivisions. Play 5, play 6, play a standard, and then just keep that super, super slow metronome. It's a very cruel mirror, a very immediate kind of like, hey, this is you. These are your problems. You have a rushing problem or a dragging problem. It's constant. It will happen every time because it's a tendency and you have to take care of it. And then kind of like narrowing the times where it takes you, where between like understanding that you're rushing or dragging or whatever it is, and correcting yourself to the metronome. So practice with a slow metronome, put it on different beats, it'll be like, so, click. We can say like 1, 1, but we can also say 4, 1, 4. It's like you just call it with a different name, and then the downbeat, the gravity center is like 4, 1, 2, 3. Click. 1, 2, 3. And then I fall in love too easily. and then the click is on the phone. That will definitely help. So that's one, slow metronome. And the second one is play with the records.
Play with records.
Play with records. Yes. Play, whether it's the good old fashioned way of just pressing play and playing with it. You have a piano player and you just play another piano. And so you have two piano players. Or, positive use of our technology, craziness of AI, whatever. Like, there are applications that would separate the stems, and then you can mute the piano player. And then, mute Herbie, and then play with the Miles Davis quartet. Play four and more. Play on that record with Ron Carter, with Tony Williams. Listen to the gravity center of the drummer. Listen to the bass notes that Ron is giving you. Listen to Miles. I mean, you will learn so goddamn much if you do that. Then put the record without you playing. Listen to Herbie. Imagine that it's you playing in this quartet. It's like that will improve your. See how he related to Tony Williams's playing. These type of things I think are very helpful. Yeah.
Very insightful. Thank you so much, Shai.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I leave this conversation so inspired, which I knew would happen. And I feel inspired not only because of how generously you've shared all of these experiences with us and all of this wisdom, but also because I love learning about, I used this word before, the granularity of your process. And it's not because I'm saying, so all that's required is just to do this and this and that, but actually the opposite, that rhythmic command, as beautiful and impressive as you have, is something that you're sharing with us, is you've worked on in this way that is very thematic, very structured, very accessible in a way, if that makes sense. And I'm just so inspired by that notion of an immense ability like the one you have with rhythm and everything else is something that you acquired in this way. I really loved learning about that. So thank you so much.
Of course. Yeah, I would say it's kind of like the common thing between all the musicians that we love listening to. And I know the way you dove into how to play a slide on saxophone is super granular. If you look at the most successful artist in Rosalia just released an album. She became number one in the world, like when she released her album. Yeah. And man, she is a hard working musician. God damn it. She knows flamenco. I heard recordings of her as a student. I've seen videos and it's so inspiring to know that people are granular, that they do. Yeah. You think people are just like talented. Jacob Collier, no man, he is a hard working motherfucker. Like these guys sat on their asses and learned the instrument. They learned rhythm. They learned. So, there are no shortcuts. You have to eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
So yes. Anyway, but thank you guys for hosting me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
The pleasure's all ours. Thank you so much, Shai, for coming, taking time out, and sharing all these insightful things with us.
Of course. And get the Time Hero subscription, guys.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Shai. Thank you. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation.
The Beat is a podcast by Time Hero, a rhythm game for everyone. Available on the App Store and Google Play Store.
This is Vansh Mak.
And this is Oded Sur.
See you in the next episode.